Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, I did an unboxing video last week for the Everyday Rocks box set. Had a great time doing that. Did a little teaser the day before, and then did the full unboxing the next day on Wednesday. And I got to tell you, I had so much fun with that. It is such an amazing package. If you're interested in getting yourself a copy, grab it while you can. I don't know how many are left, if any, but give it a shot. Go to the show notes. There is a link to the purchase page on the Uriah Heep website, or go to the Uriah Heep website, and it's right there. Either way, it's a great package, amazing. BMG and Uriah Heep really put something special together here. Kudos to you guys. And also, the Choices box set is also available. Again, don't know what quantities are left, but it's really cool as a complimentary piece to the 50th anniversary box set that came out last year. Or as a standalone, if you didn't get the box set, there's some great stuff in this one to check out, and honestly worth it totally, just as even a standalone. So really cool stuff that BMG and Uriah Heep have put together for you guys while we're waiting for touring to come back. The band has been able to do a handful of shows in Europe and are currently in the studio working on the next album. So I'm just trying to catch up to where they're at. And so that's where we are. Now, before we get into the song today, of course, it is Monday, and happy Monday, guys. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope you did something either fun or relaxing or productive or some combination thereof. You know, those weekends just seem to go by so fast, don't they? You really do. Wish the work week could do that. Now, there are some people that have been incredibly helpful to this show. Of course, my friends over at Audionamics, who I will not do a podcast with their wonderful product, Instant Dialogue Cleaner, or IDC. Go to audionamics.com and check it out. Also, the artwork for this show was done by Scott Lazinski, who did an amazing job. Every time I look at that logo, even after coming up to a year now that we've been doing the show, or I've been doing the show, just makes me smile every time. Like as I'm recording this, we're not quite at a year. So thinking about the fact that it was probably right around a year ago that we were discussing concepts and that, and he really came up with some brilliant ideas. Made it really hard to pick the final logo, but I absolutely love the one that we went with. And of course, my good buddy Dave White, the Uriah Heep director of social media, who shares all the information on the show on social media. Great guy to talk to. He's been very insightful, helped me out with some questions that I've had with the band. He's been with them forever, basically since the internet became a thing. So great help. Dave White is much appreciated. And he's a damn good guitarist and keyboardist. If you guys haven't heard my song Try Again from the Forgotten Puppet Show album, as I'm recording this in real time, it's a demo on my website on the main page. But man, this guy can play, no doubt about it. He took that song to a level I could never have done on my own. Very great work. Also, you know, we have some other podcasts that are pretty amazing in the Deep Dive Podcast Network. And just to give you a quick overview of who they are, we have the Deep Purple Podcast, we have Skinnerd Reconsidered, we have T-Bone's Prime Cuts on the other side, we have Sabbath's Bloody Podcast, we have In the Lap of the Pods, we have Hawk Binge, we have Maiden A to Z Pod, we have Diary of the Madmen, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast, and of course, we have Universally Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Podcast. Wow, that is a lot to say. And of course, my buddy Brandon over at Metallicast, who's bringing us all the hard edge stuff, and has a new baby who has not picked their favorite Metallica song yet. So I'm going to be curious as to what that turns out to be. Don't forget to check out Ace on Music over on Stitcher Radio and on YouTube. Ace is the manager for bands like Uriah Heep and Thin Lizzy. and more, and has an incredible show that he's put out. Been a little bit busy as of late, I would imagine, between the box set, putting Heep in the studio, all the other bands that he's working with. I mean, there's just so much going on when it seems like things are really slow. Only a handful of bands are touring, dates are limited. It seems like there wouldn't be that much to do, but let me tell you, there is always a lot to do. And he goes into a lot of behind the scenes music business stuff, which is always just fascinating to me. And of course, go check out gottahear'em.com, where our friend Allegra gives the histories of Deep Purple Live and bands like Emerson, Lake and Palmer Live and all kinds of other cool stuff. Go check it out. She puts a lot of effort into that site, and it is well worth taking some time to tiptoe through the articles that she puts up there, because they're very well done. And of course, you know, how could I do a show without thanking my patrons? I think I skipped them last week, but we have at the $5 Easy Living tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Brad D. At the $3 The Wizard tier, we have Peter Voss, Goran Eriksson, Frank Thielgaard Mortensen, and William Rose. And at the $1 Traveler in Time tier, we have the unfathomable Airtight Gravesite. So thank you guys all very much, everybody that contributes to the show in one way or another, even just listening and watching, you know, me seeing the numbers of how many people listen to a show. That really is encouraging to me, because I'm bringing content out to people that they're enjoying. And that is huge. I mean, what really is better in the world than that? Giving people things that make them smile. I think that's so important. But if you guys feel you get some value out of the show, please feel free to either join as a patron for, you know, even $1 would be helpful. Or you can also do like a lump sum or reoccurring donation through PayPal. Those links are at the bottom of the website, scotthaskin.com, Uriah Heep Podcast. Go to the bottom of that page. That's where all that is set up. Also, the mailing list for the contest stuff. I don't ever mail anything out. I've mailed once at the very beginning of the show, just the show announcement, and that has been it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll email something again someday. Who knows? But in any case, you can do that. Also, you know, if you are interested in helping in other ways that don't involve money, it's incredibly helpful for those people that leave reviews or even ratings on places like iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Those are the for some reason, that's the biggest place that people listen to the show. And most podcasts, actually, they are the #1 podcast outlet. So if you leave a rating, and even better, leave a review, then that will get seen by people. It helps attract more attention to the show. Don't know all the background, how that all works. I just trust that it does, because all the podcasts say it. And of course, if everybody says it, it has to be real. Yeah, actually, it only matters really when there's two things. Basically, when people are considering listening to a podcast, if they see a bunch of negative feedback, they'll probably go, you know what, probably not what I want to listen to. I'll find something else. Or when you get enough ratings and review at one time to get on the best, you know, the list, to get on the featured page of iTunes or Apple Music. And I mean, that's like thousands it takes at one time to get that. But those are really the only value that it has. Of course, it has value to me, because it means a lot to me that people would enjoy the show enough to take time to do anything beyond just listening. And thank you guys very much. And if you are one of those people that just listens kind of casually and haven't done it yet, please hit that subscribe button, because then the episodes are just delivered right to you. So those are all cool things. Thank you guys. And again, if you have not checked out those box sets, get on it. I don't know how long they'll be available, and they're really super cool. So that being said, let's get into today's song. Let's get our Monday started off right, guys. Here is Rich Kid by Uriah Heep. You thought I was going to say more there, didn't you? Wow, that is kind of a long intro. I mean, that's 29 seconds there, and we're not getting a lot of changes to it, but I'll tell you, that riff is really cool. First of all, love the guitar sound. Mick's really dialed in something special here. And it sounds crisp, but it's clean, it's distorted, but you can hear everything clearly. It's pretty magical, actually. I really like it. And love the riff. It's just got a great flow to it. I've talked about that before, just riffs that just kind of keep going. They've just got a good groove to them. I think those are ones that people just are attracted to. And I'm not immune to that at all. I'm kind of a sucker for a good rolling riff, if you will. But it looks like the band's about to join him 30 seconds in, and let's see where it goes. Well, yeah, I mean, Bernie just comes out on fire. His voice is so strong, so powerful on this song. It definitely feels more like an 80s song, just from a lyrical standpoint. There's a few songs that the names aren't coming to mind at the moment, but I just kind of lock in like early to mid 80s. Just very straightforward lyrics, no, nothing disguised, nothing woven in there. It's just telling it as it is. But his voice just sounds so strong. Love that natural vibrato that he's got and that grit that's in his voice that just gives him that extra kick, just that extra bit of spice, no pun intended, spice. But the bass line sounds really good. It's nice and straightforward. We're going to hear a lot of that on this album. I don't know exactly why the change for Trevor, because he's definitely been somebody that has shown us he can be very adventurous as a bass player. Maybe it's the time in music. Maybe it's just a different approach. Who knows? But the bass is a little bit more straightforward in most aspects on this album. I mean, he's going to get his times to shine. Don't get me wrong. But the drums sound great, really crystal clear. That snare, it just cracks perfectly for me. There's also this nice, almost feedbacky guitar sound that I'm hearing very faintly in the mix that sounds really good. I'm glad it isn't any louder. I think just enough to be noticed and add a little bit of flavor, but not like something that's so visual, or something that's so visible in the mix, I should say. But yeah, really cool so far. I'm digging this. Can't hear keyboards yet. I'm sure they're doing something, but I can't exactly hear what that thing is just yet. This is an interesting surprise because I would have expected some backing vocals there. If they're there, they're very faint. And Bernie is definitely staying predominant in the mix, which I like. But I would have thought there would have been something. So I'm going to guess, because they've done this before, where the backing vocals don't show up in the first chorus, but they'll show up down the road, or they'll do like a build on them, which is always interesting too. Instead of it just being the same repetitive chorus, doing some things that change it up and make each one a little bit unique and interesting is always fun. And, it's fun as performers too, because then you're not just like, instead of singing the same chorus 6 times, you're doing maybe 3 different ones. And, doing a build, maybe there's a throwback after the solo to one of the previous choruses. It just, it gives a little more variety to the music, makes it more fun for the listener and the performers. So we'll see where that goes. We'll keep an eye on that, or an ear on that, so to speak. Okay, I really love that transition. That was really well done. I am hearing a little bit of backing vocals, but I don't think it's the rest of the band. I think it's Bernie singing along with himself. I'm not hearing any like high harmonies or anything like that, anything of the sound that we're used to hearing from the Heep backing vocals, regardless of the lineup. But I'm pretty sure that's Bernie singing along with himself. Well, before I go any further, I just want to stop real quick and point out that quick little fill that Lee Kerslake put in there. It really felt like it was a transition. I thought we were going to go into another part, and that was very nicely done because it really surprised me that they kept on that same verse. I thought, well, it's a little early to be switching, but just the way that that beat was delayed just a little bit kind of threw it off and made me feel like it was going to change instead of stay on the pace. So very cool. I like the changes in this song. They're really unexpected. Okay, so now I'm hearing some backups in there, and that does sound like the backing section that we're used to hearing, really more just the high end of it. But I love the way it just, melts in with Bernie's vocals. It's so perfect and just has a really good sound to it. I was going to make some kind of buttercream frosting reference, but I lost it. Probably for the best anyway, because then you'll all just want cake. And but it's a cool piece. And I love those fills from Lee because he's really doing some interesting things in this song, not just putting in some great drum fills, but when I say interesting, things that make the song feel like they're going to change direction or that something abrupt is about to happen and it doesn't. And that makes it pretty fascinating for me. So there's a lot of good creativity in this song.
All she wants is love. She's ready. She wants love. She's gonna get it. All she needs is love. She's gonna have it. She needs
Okay, so that was just super cool, right? Love that part. There's so much going on, so many different dynamics. It feels like it's complete chaos, but it's not. You know that they know what they're doing when they put a part like this together. But this is just something really powerful. So you guys that have been listening to the show for a while know me well enough to know that I'm not just going to let this go. I had to count it. So I've spent the last 10 minutes going back over this part, being sure that I'm right, because it's really weird. It feels like it's in 14/4, which is just weird. That's not even like a jazz time signature. It's just weird. But if you count it out, just when you think it's going to stop at 12, there's 2 more beats there before the 1 comes back. So it is in 14. All 3 parts repeat at 14. Really surprising. I don't know how they arrived at that. I don't know if that was just kind of a jam or a groove or whatever came up, but that's a pretty fascinating part. When I think of parts like that, I usually think of bands like Chick Corea more so than I would Uriah Heep. So that was really nice. I really liked what I heard. Finally started hearing some keyboards in there too. Some nice little flange bits in the beginning of that. Really nice change of pace for the song. It gave the song a different feel, really set itself apart, and that time signature is just phenomenal. So very, very cool. I guess, I don't know if that could be done in 7/8. I guess you could count it as 7/8. I'd have to go back and do it, and I'm not going to do that because 14/4 is where I'm going to lie on that one. That's just where I sit. Any of you musicians, if you would do it in 7/8, let me know. That might make a lot more sense. But to me, as a drummer, I counted in 14. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts on that. Write me at, I don't know, what is the email for the show? UriahHeepPodcast@gmail.com. It's been a while since I've said it, I think. But there it is. Very cool part. Let's see what happens next. Okay, great ending. I'm really glad that they went back to that part again. Really amped it up from the last time they hit it too. I think that this was much more, the song's ending, just give it everything you got. Whatever you've got in the tank, bring it out right now. It sounds just fantastic. Just a chaos, but a very well done chaos. And again, I'm going to stick by what I said. I was counting it as I was playing it, all of it in 14/4. I honestly can't say that I would do that in 7/8. I just think that the beat would be too fast, thinking about, where the metronome would be on that, and it would just fly by way too fast. It is a lot easier to count to 7 than 14, but really the pattern itself repeats on the one after the 14. So I don't know. I would go with that as a drummer. If I were playing the song, I would probably just count to 14. But it might be easy to lose your place a little bit, especially if you're not playing a straight beat. I mean, Lee's just kind of going for it here. So I don't know. I think that would be a challenging piece as a musician to play, more so than the rest of the song or a lot of the other songs in this era that are much more straightforward. So this is a really surprising part. Really just brings the song to another level for me. But let's talk about Bernie. Man, heading into this part, both times he's got so much power in his voice as he hits those higher notes. And what I really love about that is a lot of times when singers hit higher notes, they start to lose that grit, right? They start to lose that distortion, that bottom end, that thing that they have as rock singers. But Bernie, man, he's got it all the way through. The whole thing felt really powerful. I don't think he lost any of that along the way. And I love the way that they kind of washed that in reverb and faded it into the background a little bit as it went on. Just such a masterfully done song on all levels. I think the mix was great. I think the musicianship was fantastic. I think I'm just going to call it like an experimental feel part, because it's really just do what you're going to do and we'll all come together somehow. And it just works for me. I love parts like that. And I think this is a great song for the album. And, this is another one, kind of like when you look at the title, you're like, all right, it's probably going to be about some snot-nosed rich kid that has everything and, except for the one elusive thing they can't find in life. But even though it kind of is, it's really not. I mean, love is an elusive thing for everyone, and trying to find that, no matter what your social status, what your financial status is, completely irrelevant, really. Love is a completely different thing that everybody can be affected by the same, regardless of any other circumstances. So, very cool song. I really like it. I think it's very powerful. I would have loved to have heard some more keyboards during the song, at least maybe just pan it a little bit into one of the ears so I can hear what they're doing. But overall, it sounded rich, full, very tight performance. So another great song on the show. What a great way to kick off the week, right? We've got the box set. We've got a great song. Just a great way to get things rolling for the week. So we will be back tomorrow with another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope that this, sets the tone for the rest of the day. Some exciting surprises, maybe they're coming your way. Who knows? But either way, have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!